4 players, right? So I got a connection here, and I got a connection here, right? That's what creates the X. So the general principle of the X is shot from this player, right, is covered by this player. Shot from this player is covered by this player. Now, we're not talking about shots that are here, okay? Well, I'm sorry, we're not talking about shots that are here. It makes sense, right? This is easy. That's what I mean to say, right? So you don't need a rule for this, right? And you don't need a rule for this. Everybody knows what the ones we don't know are these, the ones that are traveling through here, the ones that land here or here or here or here, okay? So let's talk about a couple different scenarios that arise a lot of times, and I think will really help you. One is the third shot, and this is a common mistake, okay? So what will happen is you'll have a right-handed player here, right? So forehands over here, right-handed player over here, forehand over here. Serve, usually, even if it returns in the middle, even let's say it bounces on the center line, which way is it headed? It's headed along this axis here, right? So this axis here says which player should hit it. This player, okay? Generally. Now, you can break the X, and we'll get into those in a second, but generally speaking, it is better to have this player hit it than to have this player come over, and it has to come over like this, and you'll see why in a second. This player can hit it from here. This player has to come over here. Because remember, it's traveling along an X, right? So if this player's going to hit it, they have to actually step over the line. And the line's not the problem. The problem is how it opens up this side of the court, right? But here's the thing that a lot of players don't recognize. And let me make it a little more acute so you see it easier. So this is the return. This player comes over to hit the third, right? This player's moved up, okay? This player doesn't exist. Seriously. I mean, this player is frozen back here. You can watch it. Watch the videos over it. You'll see this player. Coach, you can come in and have a seat. Coach, come on. You sure? All right. This is Coach Russell, everybody. Hello, Coach Russell. Good to see you. So you have.
Coach Russell.
That is Coach Russell. That's right. You're going to give him a hug in a minute. So this player coming over here freezes this player behind them. It's a 2-on-1 situation, right? So even if this player hits the best third shot in the world, it's the best, and it's a pop-up, this player can't do anything about it, right? And the other thing mechanically is this player, even if it's their forehand, they're hitting like this. You see? The ball's going this way. This player with the backhand is hitting like this. The other thing is this. Don't make the assumption that this player's forehand is better than this player's backhand on a third shot, because a lot of times that's not the case. Scott Moore, a good friend of ours, coach and fellow senior pro player, he runs around his forehand to hit a backhand third shot. So you're going to take away Scott Moore's backhand third shot, you're out of your mind. So this is a great example of a respect the X concept in play that is broken all the time for no reason. Now let's talk about one. I'll give you one good reason for breaking the X. Short return or serve there. This player has a good drive. They want to come across and attack like that. That's a really good reason to break the X. But you're breaking it because you have a reason to do it. You're not just reaching over to get the ball. All right? I said we're going to do 2. Let's do 3. So the other one that I want to talk to you guys about is when you have you're working through the transition zone. And this relates to a concept that our another fellow coach and friend of ours, including Coach Russell and me, Hella Spar, she has this concept called wrong way Wanda. It's a similar concept in terms of how this develops. But what happens is you'll have the third shot hit here, right? And what happens is, if I hit the third shot here and I come in like this, that's wrong way Wanda, right? See how that angle behind us? Now, the other problem that happens is this player comes in and the ball's getting attacked this way, right? It's an attack shot. Let me be clear, it's not a poachable ball. This is an attack shot from this player, got it? So it's headed to whom? To this player. What does this player do? They stick their paddle out and make a mistake. That ball is traveling away from you, super hard to handle, and you're not going to be able to handle that ball well. You're better off, let that ball travel through, trust your partner to be able to dig that ball out. That's another example of respecting the X. An exception would be, if it's a pop-up, and this player can come across and attack it, that's fine. Okay? And let's look at a third scenario on respect the X. So a third scenario on respect the X is when you're dinking. And this happens, I'll tell you, this even happens at the pro level. Nothing against senior pros, I love senior pros, but even at the pro level, right? It even happens there, where they get paid real money. So what happens there is you'll see these dinks that come like, so they'll send a dink from here to here, right? And then they'll lay the dink in here. It's traveling here, right? So it's traveling along this line here, okay? And what happens is this player sticks their paddle out. It's so hard to hit that shot. Just think of the mechanics. Just think of the physics of it. The ball's traveling this way. I'm sticking the paddle out this way. That's a disaster waiting to happen. How am I going to control that shot? The ball's going away from me. Instead, you let this player receive it, right? It doesn't matter if it's forehand or backhand. If it's a right-handed player, forehand, left-handed player, backhand, but it's becoming into their strike zone, into their shot zone. It's a much better shot. And frankly, it's the same with attack shots. So if you have an attack shot here, I would say if this player can put a good paddle on it, that's fine. But it has to be a good paddle, because otherwise it's going to come into this player's attack zone. They're just going to light that ball up. So respect the X, I'm going to tell you, is one of these concepts that applies all the time. Forget about forehand in the middle. Forehand in the middle, like put it out to pasture. Yes, put that out to pasture. Respect the X is a really good concept in terms of who takes the balls, and then I'll layer another one in there for you, which is what's the best shot for my team, right? So what the best shot for my team really is applies all the time. I always want the best shot for my team. If Jim's going to hit it, Tony's going to hit it, whatever, I don't care. Judy's going to hit it, I want them to take the shot, right? But respect the X as it gives us clarity in terms of like, I don't have any other reason for me to hit it, and it's going this way, you got it, right? If I have a reason to take it, then I take it. And I'll give you a third reason to break the X. Sometimes you'll break the X when there's pressure, and it's still what's the best shot for my team. But you have a situation where one player is under a lot of pressure, and you want to help them out. What you're doing there is you're breaking the X to relieve pressure, to relieve the pressure on your partner. That makes sense. But then again, you're thinking about it. You're like, I understand that ball should travel across the dish, but I feel dish is getting a little tense right now. Dish, I'm going to take a couple of shots, and I'll tell my partner, hey, Dish, I'm going to take a couple of thirds in a minute. Let me take the next couple of thirds just to relieve some pressure, right? I'll come over, I'll take a couple of thirds, let him get settled in again, and then we'll go back to the X. But what it is, we understand the X is there, and we also understand, okay, I'm coming out of the X in this situation because it makes sense to break the X. Cool? Do you have any questions on the X or anything else?
I have the anything else question.
Dish. Whenever Dish asks a question, I know it's trouble.
Yeah, you're right there. This is a good question. The laser up the center. There's a ball that gets dropped right to the center line, and somebody is popping it straight up that center. Is there a preference for one player or the other?
It pretty much. So the question is, so they're moving up, and then the ball comes down the center.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I would say. First of all, I would say that is going to be like so rare. There's always going to be a little bit of an angle on it. So I would look at who hit it primarily, right? So if this player hit it, the presumption is this player is going to hit the next one. If this player hit it, the presumption is this player hit it. The difference would be in court position. So if this player's ahead, right? If it's unattackable, so it's low and aggressive, then let it go through and let the back player hit it. You see? So it gets a little more complex, but that's cool. I mean, but the point is, like, normally I'm going to let the X operate, right? Because the X is going to operate here anyway. Because if this player hits it this way, this player can't get it, right? That's a wrong way Wanda situation where there's a gap between you. So it's going to be. That's why you have to be careful with those angles, because there's nobody to defend, right? This player's up, can't really defend it, nobody to defend. You put the ball here, now you have the player who can attack the ball if there's a pop-up or anything like that, and you have a defensive player. So, cool. Any other questions? And listen, what happens when you're playing, there's players who don't know the X, that's okay. You can send, actually, and into Pickle, we have a whole playlist. There's like 8 videos on there, they can watch them. If you check them out, what I recommend, if you don't understand the concept that well, check out those videos, because they have they'll break them down for you, you can check them out. But there's some really good game studies. In fact, there's one where there's a dink from here to here, okay? Here to here, in the same rally twice. So the first time this player comes over, and you can see Jim, he reaches over to hit it, and he holds up. This player hits it, no problem. They have a couple more dinks. Like 2 or 3 shots later, it's the exact same shot, and that's what's beautiful about this rally, right? Right back to here again. This time Jim, who I know he's a friend, so he's fine with it. Jim reaches out and misses the ball. Because you can see it, the way the ball's traveling, it hits us, it's so hard to control it. And his partner, I think it was Gary's playing, is just sitting there waiting to hit it. So that reach across is what causes the problem there. So check those out on the playlist. Chuck Feinstein's a pretty good player, but he doesn't know the X, so we can't. This is too intense for Chuck. So he's a really good player, but he's one of these players that's like natural. He just goes out there and runs around and smacks balls around, and he's not really sure exactly what's going on the court. Actually, he's won some really good medals lately. So Chucky, Chucky the man. So.
Of course, Tony jokes around a lot because I know what the X is.
Yes, you do. I know you do. I know you do. Chuck knows the X.
Joy, hey, he's the best.
Thanks, Chuck. All right, any other questions?
I always find the biggest problem being left-handed is on the return of serve. And it's coming to me, and the
You're talking about the third, or are you returning serve, or are you hitting a third?
return of serve.
Okay.
And
But you're returning serve.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that step in front of me.
Well, you're talking about the third then. I'm not sure. Or the fourth. The fourth, you mean, right? Because you've returned serve.
No, if I serve.
Serve, okay. Then you're hitting the third then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the third. If I'm returning serve. So
Okay. So the fourth. So you've returned already, and then, so basically, let's set it up. Let's set it up. It's all good. So let's set it up. So you basically, you're here.
Yeah.
You've returned. Let's say here, and now you're moving up, right? And then the next ball comes back. You're saying this player's taking that one. I would recommend that. The reason is because you're still in transition.
Yeah, that's not.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what they're serving. I'm returning. I guess it's the third. So it's coming.
Well, are you serving?
No, I'm returning.
Then it'll be the fourth.
I'm serving. So.
Okay. So this will be you then.
Serve's coming back.
Gotcha. Here.
It's the
Okay.
third shot.
So they're coming across to hit that third. Yeah, I know. That's. But I would ask him. The way I would ask him is this. I would say, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I would focus more on this.
Right.
Meaning, like, listen,
That's what
I
I'm
appreciate.
blocking me out.
That's what I'd say. I appreciate you coming over, but let me ask you a question. Like, I want to help you, right? So if you hit a good third, who's going to clean it?
Yes.
Who's going to hit that fifth? Remember when we did our thing the other day, the clean, right? So who's going to hit the clean shot? Who's going to clean it up? Now, if
That whole right side of the court.
right, but I would just focus on one thing. Don't do too much because But I would say, let me drop it. I'll drop it. You go in and you finish. You get all the glory. You get all the ESPN shot. So, anyway, so that's the X. If you don't have any other questions, that's our little short presentation on Respect the X. Hope you enjoyed it, and so keep applying it, and just remember that other players may not understand it. Just got to little by little, find your thing. I think the key there is if you let them know what the benefit to them is. Drop it. You go in and I'm going to set you up, man. Or when it, and I would say this, like flip it around, right? When it's like this, you tell them, I want you to take all those. Those are your thirds all the time, right? If it's like this, then presumably they're my thirds, right? Unless the ball, like this player's thirds. Unless the balls, go like, if they go like this, then there's no question. That's the thing. When people are like, well, what if, you don't have to, I'm not worried about, I'm not going to run over here and get your ball. The same way that if it's returned here, I don't expect you to come get it, right? But if it's here, this is what we're talking about. All I will tell you is it's kind of funny. I know him well. He's a friend. Scott Moore. I did a video with Scott Moore and Stephanie Lane so Stephanie Lane's serving, right? And Stephanie Lane has the best third shot in the world. She's amazing at that. And so she served. The return was over here. Seriously, it's in a video. It's on the playlist. Stephanie had to come over here. I came over there at the third, and I'm just like, "What are you doing, Scott?" So Tao Tongba just put it over here, and that was it. So, yeah. But that's the kind of thing that happened. This is obviously very acute. And what's interesting, the comments were like, well, that's so extreme. And I'm like, well, I did it so you could so clearly see it, right? But it's the same thing here. It's the same effect. It's just not as acute. So. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Bam, bam, bam. Coming around. Bam, 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 bam. You got it, guys. Appreciate it. No, thank you. We'll have another talk tomorrow. Not tomorrow. On Friday for sure we'll have a talk. We'll and then on Friday. On Friday we'll have a talk for sure. So in the afternoon. So we'll try and do it in the afternoon. Yeah. Oh, let me take a quick selfie with you guys. Hold on. Don't leave. Give me one second.
Get everybody.
Like everybody left me. I don't know why everybody left me. Let's see. Where's Melody? There's Melody. Can I see a dish? Good. All right. Thanks, guys.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Appreciate it.
All right, can I get a picture with you?
Of course you can.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks for saying hello.
All right.
Thanks for showing up, buddy. Appreciate it.
Oh, always.
All right.
This way. Good to see you again, Tony, my man.
You got it, buddy. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Russell
Tom.
go? How'd you see him in?
He's in. That's his tent right there. He's sitting right there eating ice cream.
It's ice cream
Go
time.
side of Russell. You gonna be here? Where you going?
I'm gonna head back to the Big Ten eventually.
Let me stay around here. Come.
So how did you think we did the other day?
Huh? Oh, they were fine. Yeah. Listen, it's not like there's going to be, you don't go from 0 to 100 in a moment.
No.
I think, the couple of things like putting the paddle up and slowing yourself down, not pressing when you don't need to press, stuff like that. It's fine.
Yeah. We were trying to play some. Hopefully the things like
Alright,
that
good.
tonight.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get a court,
Alright.
drill some, and then play it. We don't play till 5 o'clock tomorrow night.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, probably windier too. That's all right. You guys are filming all day. Yeah.
Where'd you put the mic?
Ready. 73 to 73.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. And it makes your life easier.
Yeah, and a couple of other YouTubers are saying that down the middle they'll figure it out after the first time. And
Only
yeah,
I thought you shut it off.